Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the NBA Draftkings slate on January 11th. Yes, that is right, NBA is back. I'm starting to do videos for these. Going to be recording videos for NBA every single day. Got college basketballs pretty much 4 or 5 days a week. But NBA will be every single day. So make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment. Tell me who you think the best player or play of the day is. I'll let you know when we kind of get into the plays who I really like. And turn on the notification bell so you know when my stuff, when my videos are available. And I'm going to start doing live streams in probably about a week, maybe later this week, to be honest. Every night, like live before locks, basically. So be sure to stick around for that as well. You'll know when I go live. So be sure to turn on that notification bell. But I think we're ready to get into this slate where we are going to start with the ridiculous amount of injuries today. It's just ridiculous. There's way too many injuries on this slate that we got to break down. It's just too much. So we're going to start with Colin Sexton for Cleveland. He is questionable. I think Colin Sexton, he's missed the last 2 games. I think he's going to play, though. I think it's time for him to come back. That's sort of my read on it, but I could be completely wrong. We won't know for a while, obviously. If Colin Sexton does miss, this is going to be a nice, huge bump in usage for Cedi Osman, who already is without Darius Garland. I didn't put that one on here. Darius Garland's also out. If it's just Garland out, then Sexton and Osman get usage bumps, but if both of them are out, Osman's going to be like a high usage guy, going to be a really good play in my opinion. And then if Colin Sexton does miss, I expect Damian Dotson probably to start, and he's going to get a very much expanded role. So that's what's going to happen if Sexton's out. Evan Fournier is also questionable. Again, he hasn't played in like over a week at this point. I honestly have no clue if he's going to play. Every single day I'm like, okay, it's probably the day he comes back, and he doesn't come back. So if he is to miss again, this is just going to be more minutes and usage for Terrence Ross, Dwayne Bacon, and James Ennis. At this point, it's probably getting spread around a little bit evenly. If Terrence Ross has the hot hand, he's going to get the most minutes, but if he's not hitting anything, he's probably not going to be out there as much. So these are the guys that do get affected that much. It's not really anything. The guys, Evan Fournier has been out for a while now, so the guys are kind of priced accordingly, and we haven't really seen James Ennis get more than like 21 minutes in a while, or since he's come back from injury. So I don't really think Ennis is going to get a ton of minutes where you're going to need to go to him. And Bacon and Ross are like at the price point where it's just not like a huge value or anything. Markelle Fultz tore his ACL, so pretty much it looks like going forward, Cole Anthony's going to be the starting point guard for Orlando this year. It's really good for him. He came into the draft. It was kind of questionable what he could do in the NBA, and he's been all right so far. And maybe to see him in a starting role, maybe we're going to get to see if he can really bring that upside that he saw in high school. So Cole Anthony's going to be getting the minutes. He's been kind of priced up a little bit, so nothing really too huge on DraftKings there. Michael Carter-Williams is out as well. That's going to affect Cole Anthony, Dwayne Bacon, James Ennis, which is all getting extra minutes because he's out. Cam Payne is questionable for Phoenix. If he were to miss, then I'd expect Javon Carter to get a lot of the backup point guard minutes. Nothing really too big that I'm not going to play Javon Carter today. So unless Chris Paul somehow breaks his leg today or whatever, but that's just what's going to happen with Cam Payne if Cam Payne is to miss. Russell Westbrook is a very big one for the Washington Wizards here, as well as Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant being out is going to open up the center minutes for Robin Lopez and Mo Wagner to probably. Last game they split them, so we'll see what happens tonight, but those are going to be the guys getting the center minutes there. With Russell Westbrook out, I expect Raul Neto to start. He's cheap, he's going to get minutes. He's just going to be a starting point guard. We've already seen Westbrook miss games this year and had 2 starts. And then Bradley Beal is just going to get a massive usage bump. When Russell Westbrook, it's like last year when Westbrook was off the court, Harden had a big usage rate. Now Beal's isn't going to be as high as Harden's was last year, but it's still ridiculously high. So that's going to be. We'll talk about Bradley Beal. He's definitely someone I'd like going to today. When Philadelphia, they're still playing without half their team. Joel Embiid's probable today, so that's good. If he misses, gosh, it's going to be bad again. But Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Shake Milton, Seth Curry, Furkan Korkmaz, Matisse Thybulle, Vincent Poirier, and Terrence Ferguson are all out. So I said it affects everyone. I'm interested in a few Philly guys today. We'll talk about them. But it's ridiculous. They should not have to play these games. I'm sorry. Philadelphia should, like with Boston, how they got their game canceled last night, Philadelphia should have gotten theirs canceled also. Bogdan Bogdanovic is out for Atlanta. With him out, this is going to be a little bit of a usage bump for Trae Young, and then Kevin Huerter and Cam Reddish should benefit in minutes. Those are the guys that will benefit from that. Steven Adams is questionable. If he misses today, Zion Williamson, I expect just to get some more minutes at center. But then Jackson Hayes might start, or Nicole Melli might start. One of those two probably starts and gets some more minutes, so we're going to have to pay attention to news for that one. Kristaps Porzingis is questionable for Dallas. I don't really think he's going to play. But if he were to play, that's just going to be less minutes for Kleba and James Johnson. But I would not expect Kristaps Porzingis to come back and play a full minutes rotation. However, Maxi Kleba is also questionable. And Dallas is the other team that's just been destroyed with injuries, and we're going to talk about those players who that really affects later. But Maxi Kleber is questionable. Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Jalen Brunson are all out. The main beneficiaries are going to be Trey Burke, James Johnson, Wessel Wundu, Josh Green. For Kleber, it's going to be Cauley Stein, James Johnson, Dwight Powell. We'll talk about some of these guys in a little bit. Buddy Hield is questionable for Sacramento. With him, if he misses, I think Tyrese Halliburton probably just starts. He's been coming off the bench, but I think he probably just starts alongside De'Aaron Fox at this point. And then he's going to be a really good play, good value, I think. And then Corey Joseph as well probably get some more minutes at the 2. Rashawn Holmes also questionable. If he were to miss, I'd assume they'd probably go Hassan Whiteside starting. But if I were to coach, I would just put Bagley at the 5 because I don't think Hassan Whiteside's a good real-life player. So we'll see what they do. It's a late game, so it's going to be some news to pay attention to. And if Hassan Whiteside's starting, man, that's going to be huge value because that dude's just so underpriced for his upside. So, that's just going to be something we have to pay attention to if Rashawn Holmes misses. That's it for the injuries. There's a quick little brush over on the injuries. Let's get into the players that I am going to be interested today, where we are going to start with the Atlanta Hawks. They're going up against Philadelphia. Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish. Huerter's 5,500, Cam Reddish 5,100. I have them both projected for a lot of minutes. Like I said, that Bogdan Bogdanovic injury is big for them. Especially Cam Reddish. Huerter was already seeing in the 30s, but now, Cam Reddish should as well. They're Huerter's a 0.9 point per minute guy. Reddish is a 0.7. They both have pretty decent usage rates. Kevin Huerter at 18.2 and Cam Reddish of a 19.9. Huerter also has a nice assist rate of 19.7. Definitely do prefer him a little bit, but Cam Reddish is still, I think, a good value at $5,100. Philadelphia is a tough defensive team, but not now. Not with who's starting. They don't have, they're good. They have Embiid, but there's no Simmons, there's no Harris, there's no Curry. They're not good right now. So, I think that these are definitely guys to attack. It's going to be a low game total on this game, but just because Philadelphia isn't really projected to score a lot of points. So I do think Huerter and Cam Reddish are very good plays. Terry Rozier at 6,500 going up against the Knicks. I have him projected for 3,500. He's a 1 point per minute guy. He has a usage rate of 24.4 and an assist rate of 15.2. This is another game with a really low total. It only has a game total where these teams are 108, 105. It's really low. But Terry Rozier just seems a little bit underpriced for the usage rate and the role in this offense that he's had. Aaron Gordon at 6,700. Aaron Gordon got his minutes lifted, or last night or the last. I think they're on a back-to-back. So either last night or Saturday, whenever they played last, his minutes lift limit was gone. He played 36 minutes in the last game. I gave him 36 today. He's a 1.08 point per minute producer on the year. He should be priced at 7,000, so he's going to project has a nice value. He's just a little bit underpriced still for his role. They're still pricing him a little bit based off of the minutes that he has been playing. So Aaron Gordon does project out as a pretty good play for me today. Wouldn't call him a core guy or anything, but definitely somebody I like if you're playing large field tournaments. And I don't think he's going to get a lot of ownership either. So Aaron Gordon definitely somebody I like. Bradley Beal and Raul Neto are the two guys I'm going to be interested in on Washington going against the Phoenix Suns. Bradley Beal's $9,900. I have him projected for 36 minutes. He's a 1.43 point per minute guy. Without Russell Westbrook on the floor this year, Bradley Beal has a usage rate of 39.4 and an assist rate of 28.4 and a rebound rate of 9.3. Everything is going up for him. So Bradley Beal projects out very, very well for me today. I've been playing 36 minutes. That's usually the max minutes I'll give anybody in NBA, but he could definitely play more. Wouldn't be that surprised. So at 9,900, yeah, he's kind of expensive, but that usage rate is really nice. Phoenix isn't an elite defensive team. They're solid, but it's nothing really to worry about too much for me. Raul Neto is $4,600. He just looks like a nice value. I have him for 32 minutes today. 0.89 point per minute guy. He's going to get a nice little usage bump here as well. He's going to have a usage rate of 20.5 and an assist rate of 16.7. So that grades out well for Raul Neto too. I do like him a good bit. So Philadelphia is the team with all the injuries, but the one that I think is going to be the biggest, most important one, assuming he plays, is Joel Embiid. He is probable, so he's probably going to play. More than likely going to play. If he doesn't play, well, my cover is screwed. So Joel Embiid at $9,800, he just looks like a smash to me. There's no Ben Simmons. There's no Tobias Harris. There's no Steph Curry. Those are the next three highest usage players on this team. The main guys who play. So without them on the floor, Joel Embiid, without Simmons on the floor this year, has a usage rate of 38.8 and a rebound rate of 29.4. It's still not the highest usage rate. Beal's is higher, but that rebound rate is massive. Joel Embiid, for this role that he's going to have in his offense today, should be north of 10.5. He should be 11K today. He's way too cheap. I think he's probably going to be the most popular player on the day, especially pay up. But, man, and going up against Atlanta, too, who defensively is just not good. I know Clint Capella is a pretty solid defensive center, but Like, Embiid's just going to do everything for his team today. So I do think that he is a great play. Now, Joe, the last time we saw Philly, it was without everybody plus Embiid. So Embiid didn't play in that game either. So that allowed for these guys all to pop off. I mean, Tyrese Maxey put up like 61 fantasy points, put up 39 real life points. Dude's a bucket. He's really good. He was a steal. I still, to this day, don't understand why he was drafted that late. But anyway, these guys got priced up a little bit, which is fine. They probably should have, but I still think they're going to have a huge role because, like, okay, yeah, Tyrese Maxey won't be the highest usage guy anymore, but he's still going to be a huge usage player because it's Justin Embiid now. So Tyrese Maxey, Danny Green, Isaiah Joe, I do think still have good roles, and they're just going to play a lot of minutes. Like, I gave all three of them 36 today. Tyrese Maxey's almost a whole point per minute guy. In that last game, without everybody on the floor, he had a usage rate of 30.9. That probably comes back down to like 25 today because Embiid's back, but he's still going to have a high usage rate. Isaiah Joe's usage wasn't as high, but $4,100 for 36 minutes against Atlanta. I'll take that all day. Danny Green at $4,700 also got a usage bump the last game. I don't usually like to play Danny Green, especially in $4,700, but if he's going to play 36 minutes and have a little bit of higher usage rate, give me that all day against Atlanta. So Danny Green, Isaiah Joe, Tyrese Maxey look just like great values today on the slate. I don't mind getting all of them, and I love Embiid. OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam are going to be the two guys I'm interested in on Toronto. For me, OG Anunoby is just a little too cheap at $5,600. He's playing massive minutes this year. 36 minutes is what I have him for today. He's a .75 point per minute guy. His peripherals haven't been great. Only a usage rate of 15.2, an assist rate of 6.4, and a rebound rate of 8.5. But at $5,600, playing all that amount of minutes against Portland, who has been like the worst defensive team in the league this year, they cannot stop anybody. Give me that all day. I mean, it's just they're in a really good spot. I think that price is just a little bit too cheap, and it's OG Anunoby, so unless he's like dirt cheap, nobody's really going to ever play him. So I do think he's going to be a good ownership play as well. I'll probably get some fair shares of OG. Just hopefully he falls into a little bit more rebounds, a little bit more points today, and will pay off. Pascal Siakam, he's been bad. Toronto's been bad as a whole, man. They just do not look good at all. I don't know if it's moved to Tampa. I don't know if it's just this team maybe wasn't as good as we thought they were. They lost Marcus Gasol and Serge Ibaka. I don't know if that's part of it. But Pascal Siakam especially has been bad. $8,100. I have him for 36 minutes, though. He's a 1.1 point per minute guy still. Usage rate 25, assist rate 20.7, and a rebound rate 12.2. That's all still way too cheap in my opinion for, that all makes Pascal Siakam way too cheap in my opinion, $8,100. So I do like going there a lot. Cedi Osman, Colin Sexton for Cleveland. We kind of talked about them a little bit already on the injury notes side of this. But Sexton's $1,600. Osman's been priced up to $5,900, but they both still grade out well for me, assuming Colin Sexton plays. Without Garland on the floor this year, Colin Sexton has a usage rate of 28.2 and assist rate 19.7. Just a little, it's a decent bump up from what he usually is. So that grades out well for me. And then Cedi Osman without Garland gets a nice usage bump too. So that's good for me. And then if Sexton's out too, like Cedi Osman probably one of the best plays on the slate. Kind of just going to lock him and Embiid in to start today. So that's what I would do if Colin Sexton does get officially ruled out. We'll see what happens later on in the day for that. Justin Holiday, Victor Oladipo, and Miles Turner are going to be the three guys I'm interested in on Indiana. They're going to be facing Sacramento tonight. Sacramento, a team that's just also not great defensively, so I like to attack that. Holiday's $4,900, Oladipo $6,900, Miles Turner $6,200. They're all going to play in the 30s minutes. Oladipo and Miles Turner are good point per minute guys. Justin Holiday not as much, but he has been getting the minutes recently. We've seen in the last 2 games 32 and 28 minutes. He's just been shooting pretty well. He's kind of risky. I don't really love him. I'd rather go to the Philadelphia value guys, but at $4,900, I don't think a lot of people will play him. Oladipo and Miles Turner, they just grade out pretty well for me. Look like solid options. Probably a little too cheap, especially Oladipo. I think he's a little bit too cheap for a role he plays on this team. 26 usage rate, so I do think that Oladipo is a pretty solid option. DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, and Jay Crowder are going to be the three guys I'm interested in on Phoenix. They're going to be playing against Washington today, who's just horrible defensively. They're terrible. Can't stop anybody. And there's no Thomas Bryant now, though Thomas Bryant was garbage defensively. Like, that's something. Like, Thomas Bryant's out, but he was bad defensively, but that's still going to be good for DeAndre Ayton because it's not like Robin Lopez or Mo Wagner's better at either. So it's $7,300 for DeAndre Ayton. He's definitely someone I like. Now, if it's going to be hard to fit him in on Draftkings because unless you want to put two centers on your roster, which I like doing a lot, but some people don't. I get that if you don't want to put a center in your utility. But DeAndre Ayton at $7,300, I do really like. I'm a 1.04 point per minute guy. He's a pretty nice usage rate at 18.2 with a really good rebound rate of 21.5. Makes me really like him. Mikal Bridges at $6,100 just feels a little bit too cheap. He plays a ton of minutes. The usage isn't great at 16, but at 34 minutes at $6,100 against Washington, I do like that. And then Jay Crowder is way too cheap also at $5,200 going up against Washington. I think that is also way too cheap. I definitely like to get there. Robert Covington at $5,200. He just plays a ton of minutes for Portland here. It's just a minutes play. He hasn't really been great this year. Only a .67 point per minute guy, but he does shoot the ball a lot. He's 5,200. He's going to play a lot of minutes. So, and Toronto defensively also, they haven't been good this year. That's a team that usually look at. Oh, Toronto defensively, they're pretty good. Not this year. They've been bad. So I'm not scared of that at all. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is Dallas. So look, we already had a game without Finney Smith, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Brunson. And in that game, there were 3 guys who did work. That's it. There were 3 players that were involved on this offense. Gosh, this stupid laptop. Trey Burke had a usage rate of 30.8. Luka Doncic 37.3. Tim Hardaway Jr. also usage rate of 30.8. So they were the 3 guys doing anything in that game. So I want to attack them. I want to attack all 3 of them. I think they're all. I mean, Luka Doncic is great. He's Luka. But Hardaway's usage rate at 6,700, love it. Trey Burke's usage rate at 4,500, I do love it. I hope he plays a little bit more minutes this game. I think he will. I think because he played so well, they'll probably bump his minutes up a little bit. That is a little bit risky, but I still do like him. And then Weston Wondu, who played 32 minutes in that last game, I think that comes down a little bit, and Trey Burke kind of eats into that. At $3,400, though, he does look like a good value. So I think that's really all I got to say in this video. Thank you guys for checking this out. Let me know who you think the best play is in the comments. I love Joel Embiid tonight, but I know that's a top tier guy. If I had to go for a value, like a cheap value, it's probably gonna be Raul Neto. So let me know in the comments who you think the best play on the day is. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Make sure to pay attention to the news because there's a lot that we need to pay attention to tonight, and hopefully we are going to make some money.